Hey guys, Ash here coming at you today, Watcher of Realms. Welcome to the video. I'm glad to have you all here with me today. Talking some Watcher of Realms, talking the best damage dealers, the best DPS, the best nukage when it comes to just raw overall damage in the game against Guild Boss. This is the top 10 ranked from 10 all the way up to numero uno, and it's going to be impossible not to snub anybody on this list today because there's a lot of good damage dealers in Guild Boss, and there's some new additions on this list too. They keep adding obviously really compelling heroes into this game, so this was very difficult. I guess I want to start out with an honorable mention. I think that we should start out with a couple honorable mentions, right? But it was the only epic. There he is right there on Chungo. Chungo using, or not really using, but kind of using, Deimos is amazing. And, you know, you could argue he belongs maybe in that 10 spot, but it's again, it's very tough. Deimos is amazing. First of all, he's very hard to get for an epic, which is a bummer because he is an epic at the end of the day. But he has really good, just continuous damage. You see it right there, right? He, in my opinion, is the best fighter out of all the epics for Guild Boss damage. There's some others out there, you know, obviously Wrath is good, and Estrid, and Vladov. There's quite a few, but Deimos takes the cake for me. And the thing about Deimos is a lot of the damage that any hero can put out anywhere in the game, and specifically in Guild Boss, is predicated on their awakenings. And even though he's super hard to get, he's still going to be easier to get than some of the legendaries, obviously, you know, on the list, especially the lords, you know, might be a tad easier, even though those pull summon rates are still very low on him to actually awaken, ergo getting even more damage out of him. Deimos is an honorable mention on the list. Frankly, you know, another one too is, I'm sure a lot of people in the comments are gonna be like, wait, why no mention of Twin Fiend? Are you crazy? And Twin Fiend is amazing, but when it comes to just raw damage, obviously he gets more out of your entire team, but he himself is not, we're looking at just sheer damage for that particular hero. So he is, you know, a goat, just like so many heroes in the game, but not going to make our top 10. Anyway, let's get to the top 10, starting at, well, number 10. Salazar, I might have missed, you know, a couple here, but not as much usage as he did traditionally. The thing about Salazar, he's an amazing burst damage fighter, obviously. Here's one, really nice damage there. Really nice damage on this team. Comes in just barely at number 4. But the thing about Salazar is he gets more damage out of the rest of your team too, right? He buffs your team. So maybe a little notch up for that, and he can obviously deal some really, really nice damage himself as well. Salazar coming in at number 10. There's no way to actually go to the hero screen from here, is there? Oh, that's kind of a bummer. I was hoping to actually show the kits as well, but you know, I think that we've talked about a lot of these champs. Actually, you can see their skills and stuff like that as well, right? So obviously Salazar with the bleed, with just that continuous damage, all emanating from the smashing blitz ability, is just a goat. Scarlet Hunt, obviously anybody with bleed, Scarlet Hunt is a great option. Same thing with like an Ardia, who could have made the list as well. She's incredible as well. So another honorable mention. Coming in at number 9 on the list. I do want to point out artifacts along the way on all of these, like what my favorite artifact would be with these specific heroes as we go through them, just to give you guys some ideas there as well. Nocturne. So as it says right here, he's got the true damage, burst damage. He's just, I mean, what can I say about Nocturne, right? It's kind of what you see is what you get. Just like super good, dependable, raw damage. Tears of Twilight, great option for him. I love Tears of Twilight, Spirit Siphon for kind of my range DPS. This is going to be my faves. And then Realm Tear and Wailing Skull. Realm Tear on like a fighter, specifically an area, like a range fighter, and Wailing Skull on Zillitus as well. Anyway, Nocturne comes in at number 9 on the list. Coming in at number 8 on the list, speaking of him, it's going to be Arrogance. So Arrogance, very, very good. He's got burning, he's got damage, and Realm Tear. It's really important to mention Realm Tear. Deals damage to enemies beyond 1 tile from this hero. Increased damage. For every 1 tile beyond the first, damage increased by 8%. And from what I hear, there's some sort of a bug with Arrogance and Realm Tear. I'm not sure if it's by design or if it's not supposed to be this way, but it actually jacks up his damage even more. So Realm Tear is definitely going to be the artifact you want to keep your eye open for when we talk about Arrogance. But yeah, man, he's like, Arrogance is a jack of all trades, really, really good, basically everywhere in the entire game, and really excels in terms of just raw damage, again, in Guild Boss. Coming in at number 7 on the list. Now, this could be subject to big big change. Very difficult to say where we're going to be putting Lust. Lust is brand new to the game at the time of this recording, so again, she's going to be very difficult to rank. However, it is very, very clear, right? She is insane in Guild Boss. She got multi-strike attack, she got burst damage, she's got rage regen, she's just a really good DPS. Okay, look at number 10 here, guys. Joram Pai, I don't know, but look at this. Out damages Hex and Silas and Arrogance. 190. Oh my god, that's insane. She could easily be, based on the early numbers, by the way, time of this recording, she's been introduced to the game, excuse me, for probably all of I don't know, 5 days. So it's not much time, but man, early indications say that she could be way higher than number 7 on the list. She could be top 3 if I was to remake this video in a month. So keep your eye on Lust. She looks absolutely incredible. Coming in at number 6 on the list is going to be a Infernal Lord, the other Infernal Lord. It's going to be Soul Cadence. 124 mil there. I mean, he's consistently number 3 or 4 on teams that use him. The cool thing about Soul Cadence is, unlike a Twin Fiend, unlike a Pyros, instead of channeling everybody else, my man is just basically using everybody else to boost his own damage. So not only is he an Infernal Lord, you get all the Lord benefits. Infernal teams are the number 1, you know, meta in Guild Boss, but you also get some really, really nice damage out of him as well. So Soul Cadence comes in at number 6. Number 5 on the list is going to be a fighter, and it's going to be Valeria. Man, she has skyrocketed and really taken some of the action away, especially even being Nightmare in an Infernal meta. She's taken some action away from some of the other fighters out there in the game. If you can design a great team around her and kind of mitigate her own, you know, damage and whatnot, you can get 100 million plus out of Valeria. Some might argue she should be below, certainly maybe a Lust. So Cadence maybe a little bit lower on the list, but I don't know, man. I mean, even this number here, I've seen a lot higher than that. So obviously it does depend quite a bit on the build and the team around her. But I think that Valeria is just, man, she excels damage-wise. One of my personal favorite fighters on the list. So again, maybe I'm a little bit biased there, but what do you guys think of Valeria? Where would you rank her on your list? Here, how does she do on this team? Look at that. I mean, she's right there. Maybe, again, you could flip-flop a couple of these, but either way, she is a damage beast. Wailing Skull is going to be the way to go on her. Wailing Skull is such a tough artifact to get your hands on, but when you do, it is very, very good. Number 4 on the list is going to be my favorite shield popper, or destructive spit popper in the game. It's none other than the big battle armada himself. It's Setram. Setram is a monster. You can put him in back. He has that nice range. You know, he's got that insane ultimate where he's just popping. I mean, he's the best shield popper, like I said, in the game. Certainly in the conversation on the fortress stance. He does have that annoying kind of overload mechanic to where he stops attacking, but time it correctly, you can bust through that destructive spit shield and just deal an insane amount of damage in addition to that as well. Certainly one of the most sought after heroes in the game in Setram for good reason. I love him in Spirit Siphon as well as an artifact, and specifically, just like all these heroes, I haven't been mentioning it on every single one, but if you get him awakened, specifically on Awakened 1 even on Setram, you're looking at even more damage, even more buffing team damage off of his A1, which can really start ramping up your overall Guild Boss blood damage. All right, coming in at number 3, guys, is going to be this. The top 3 might be pretty obvious to you guys. You'll see him on almost every team. Hex, 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 Hex. The only knock on Hex, really, is just his RNG, right? You don't know what card he's gonna pull, but especially if you can get him totally awakened. I mean, I don't have him awakened at all, so, and I'm a dirty pay to win, so I don't know how many other people out there do other than these top leaderboard players, but boy, oh boy, oh boy, Hex is just sheer insane damage. As I said, a little bit of RNG there, keeping him away from the number 2 and the number 1 spot, but what more can you ask of the Joker in the game? He's just insanely good, right? That's all I have to say about him. Hex comes in at number 3. Number 2 on the list, again, you can see him on every single team. You can see him he might be the best overall champion or hero in the entire game, and it's Silas. Silas just has so much defensive penetration, so much raw damage. He hits so incredibly hard that he just finds his way into, well, any team, whether we're talking arena, PvP, Void Rift, gear raids, except for gear raid 1, I guess. But like, Silas is just so good, just so much damage from this guy. It's truly incredible. Spirit Siphon is the artifact of choice for me as well on Silas. Again, he just brings so much raw damage to the table with his soul sniping ability that ignores 50% of the target's defense as well. And of course, number 1, to the shock of absolutely nobody watching this video at all, it's Zillitu. Zillitu is still the clan boss or guild boss god in the game. She can pull out 300 million damage. She can pull out the most damage out of any hero in the game, bar none. You'll see her, you know, Hex or Silas out damage her on some squads, but in terms of who can you push to the absolute limit, and again, there's a little bit of RNG with Hex. It is Zillitu. It is Zillitu. Make sure you set her up with invigoration. Make sure you take advantage. Use your skill tomes on, or skill crystals, excuse me, on Zillitu. You will not regret it. She's going to be somebody that you're definitely going to want to just put all your resources into, because her on an Infernal team is insane. Even a Pyros, stopping attacking and channeling with Focus Fire, whether it's Twin Fiend or Pyros, is obviously going to be absolutely perfect for a Zillitu. I don't have mine in insane gear or anything like that, but she's still by far my biggest damage dealer on my team as well. A little bit of attack speed, crit rate, crit damage. On artifacts, again, Wailing Skull is going to be the way to go. I need another one. I really want to promote this artifact, man. Why she works so well is charges energy after 3 seconds of not dealing damage, and she's stopping dealing damage with the Focus Fire of a Pyros or a Twin Fiend, and then you can just channel that all in and just get these insane numbers. So there it is, guys. Those are my top 10 damage dealers, nukers for Guild Boss. Who do you agree with? Who do you disagree with? Who shouldn't be on the list and who should? Let me know in the comments below. Much love, and as always, take care, guys.